It's United versus Arsenal this Sunday, and it's going to be a good one. With both teams fighting for all the points, Arsenal's trying to stay on top of the league. United's trying to solidify their place in top four. These points could not be any more important. With Ten Hag having to make some, quick adjustments in his squad, having been on such a great run in the past, couple of months, now he has to restructure this starting 11 to make sure that they can go against Arteta's very strong squad. And Arteta having already proved that he has, I wouldn't say they're his favorite 11, but definitely his most efficient 11, I believe that United's going to have to find another way to flip the switch and get a result against Arsenal. Having already done that in the beginning of the season, having played them in Old Trafford and won 3-1, I do think that we have to find their weakness in that squad of how are we going to essentially come out on top. With United already knowing that Arsenal loves to have possession of the ball, Arsenal loves to create these plays and, really be fluid in their gameplay. I do think that United has to be very effective. Even though Ten Hag's system has obviously been something to watch out for most teams, I still don't think we're there with Arsenal. We're not there with City yet, so it's still an ongoing development. So when we go against a team like Arsenal, which will most likely have 60% possession in this game, every time we get a shot, we have to make sure that we make it worthwhile. So Rashford and whoever we put as a number 9, their finishing has to be clinical. And similar to how we did with Arsenal in that first go-around, we need to be really good on the counter. And that's been our MO for the past, 4 or 5 years. We haven't really had a good gameplay style. It's always been like, hey, they mess up, we'll just counter them. And we pretty much have to do that against Arsenal again, to be honest. I don't think that we're as good as in possession as they are. So it's pivotal that our players like Bruno or Eriksen really open up those channels for our wingers and put them in open spaces. We have to make sure that we replace Casemiro appropriately. Even though we didn't win that first game against Arsenal with Casemiro, I still think that it's a huge loss for us, right? This was going to be such a good game to watch. It was going to be Partey versus Casemiro, all these different debates going on. They were going to be answered in this one game, and now with this yellow card suspension that he picked up during the Crystal Palace game, we won't actually be able to see that. So, in order to get all these pointers, here's the lineup that I think Ten Hag is going to open up with. Obviously, we're always solidified in the back. We always have our one guy, our go-to. De Gea is going to be our goalkeeper. But our back four, I think, is going to be something that we have gotten accustomed to in the turnaround of 2023, right? I do believe we're going to put Luke Shaw as our center half, Malacia on the left. Wan-Bissaka is going to stick in the right back position since Dalot is still hurt. And Varane over there next to Luke Shaw on the back. So with them there, a lot of people are probably asking themselves, hey, what about Lisandro Martinez, right? Personally, I think that Lisandro is going to take on a whole new position in this game, and it's going to be Ten Hag's magic trick, right? He's already shown some magic putting Luke Shaw as a center half or putting Casemiro as a center back. I think Lisandro being a DM will be another one of those aces that he hasn't shown us yet. Having used Lisandro as a DM over in Ajax before, I think this is probably the best game to do that with. We don't have Casemiro. McTominay is not on the same form that he's been since the beginning of the season. So having someone like Lisandro who, 1, can bring the ball up from the back, 2, very good defender, 3, can give a hell of a long ball, and 4, is incredibly physical, right? They don't call him the butcher for no reason. So having him there in the middle, playing deep and allowing our midfielders to go up, I think is going to be a great reason why we may put up a great matchup against Arsenal. Also, pairing him up with a player like Fred, who has a very high work rate, and we can put him 1v1 versus Martin Odegaard, I think that's going to be pivotal. He already did this against Kevin De Bruyne against City. He's definitely going to be put on the same role this time. And also having Eriksen there, double pivot, helping open up those channels, finding players, that really good vision that we need in our midfield, he is definitely going to be a starter in this as well. What we need to watch out for is his endurance, right? Can he keep up in this game? We noticed that in City, the first half, he had an okay first half. It was decent, right? He actually had a few decent balls that he opened up Rashford with, but in the second half, it all turned around, right? You could tell he couldn't keep up with City's midfield, and that's what I'm afraid of with Arsenal as well. But we've seen that Ten Hag does have an answer for that. Maybe putting an extra attacking player like a winger and then dropping Bruno into more of a midfielder position. So having Eriksen there, I do believe we're going to put Bruno on the right, and then really playing 4 midfielders at once when we don't have the ball, so we can at least try to maintain some sort of control. We saw this happening against Chelsea, how when we had 4 midfielders there, we really controlled the tempo. Having done that against City, I think it's another staple of Ten Hag's system when we are not necessarily the strongest possession team in the pitch at the moment. Then on top, I do believe we're going to obviously have, who is our hottest player at the moment, Rashford on the left. And then up top, I do believe we're going to have Weghorst make another start, simply because I don't believe Martial's 100% fit. And since we didn't really see or get any updates from the team up to this point, I do believe that Weghorst gets another start. This is a player that can put pressure on a back line. He can drop deep, try to open up players with his distribution, strong frame, and obviously we can finally get some crosses into a really big target man. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to utilize Weghorst and really see what he's all about now. Overall, very tough game. I do think that Arsenal are going to put up a fight, and there are certain things that we need to do to win this game. This sort of battle and joust for these 3 points, you'd be ridiculous to think that we can just walk in there and win. Inside, my heart says United's going to get this W, right? I think we're going to get all 3 points. I feel it. It just feels like one of those games that we just came off a really disappointing tie against Crystal Palace. We're down. Arsenal's they're up, right? They had a week off. Arsenal's probably thinking like, hey, we can catch these guys on the back of a tie. Easy peasy, right? We're supposedly the stronger team, and let's just go in there and get the job done. But I really hope they underestimate us, because I think that's going to be a key part of us winning that game. And honestly, Wan-Bissaka on Martinelli, that's going to be a battle to watch out for. I think that getting past Wan-Bissaka is very hard. Trying to go 1v1 against Wan-Bissaka is difficult. You can tell that Ten Hag is putting back on form. That match-saving tackle that he had on Zaha was incredible. I think this is the guy to get that job done for us on the left side. And I do think that Malacia's got his work cut out for him with Saka, right? And it's going to be tough, but we need to make it worth it, right? But overall, I do believe that, hey, with our fullbacks, we need to make sure we contain their attack as much as we can. Having Fred 1v1 against Martin Odegaard is going to be key. And then also just taking advantage of whatever place we get. Look, simply put, I think United can go in there, win 2-1, get the 3 points, and really put themselves above and solidify their top 4 place, right? We just saw Newcastle drop some points against Crystal Palace. We need to make sure that we open up the gap between 3rd and 4th place if we do happen to, need them later on. So a win against Arsenal today will mean the world for us. So 2-1 United. So do you guys agree? If you don't, comment down below, share, subscribe, and let's make sure that you look out for the next video.